Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Zebley, roll call, please.
Mrs. Denny? Mrs. Ellis?
Here.
Mr. Hefton?
Present.
Mrs. Jones? Mr. Mantinelli? Here. Mr. Seesaw?
Here.
Mr. Tinsley? Here. Mr. Twisler?
Here.
Mr. Arnold?
Here. 2.01 is the approval of minutes. Motion is to approve the minutes of the October 25th board meeting, 2023. Do I have this motion?
So moved.
Questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 2.02 is the invoice listing. Motion is to approve the invoice listing for October through November of 2023. Do I have this motion?
So moved.
Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Ms. Ellis, Treasurer's Report, please.
Penn-Delco School District Treasurer's Report for October 2023. As of September 30th, 2023, Penn-Delco's balance was $59,257,272. During October 2023, local, state, and federal revenues totaled $3,823,669. Disbursements were issued in the amount of $4,780,384. And as of October 31st, 2023, Penn-Delco's current balance is $58,300,557. The motion is to approve the Treasurer's Report for October 2023.
Is that its motion?
So moved. Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 2.04 is the budget transfer report. Motion is to approve the budget transfer report for November of 2023. Do I have this motion? Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Number 3 on tonight's agenda is the student representative report to the board.
Hello everyone, nice to see you all again. I think there is an Eagles game tonight, so I will try to make this quick. The annual Sun Valley Chai Turkey Bowl is this Thursday, November 23rd. Sun Valley are the reigning champions and are hoping to finish off their season with one last victory for the season. Students are anxiously awaiting the game and have already bought their tickets and Turkey Bowl sweatshirts online. Should be a good day, and I look forward to watching Sun Valley beat Chai. In other news, the Sun Valley Ridley hockey team has their Turkey Cup this Wednesday. They're playing O'Hara, and it should be a great game. The Sun Valley Theater Department is hosting auditions for this year's musical, Catch Me If You Can. Auditions are being held after school on Friday, November 30th. The National Honor Society hosted their induction ceremony for incoming members last Thursday. It was a great night for the students and their families as students became members of the Sun Valley chapter of the National Honor Society. The ceremony was filled with speeches from members of the current cabinet and administrators like Dr. Steinhoff. After the ceremony, the new inductees and their families were invited to the cafeteria for light refreshments to celebrate the students and their accomplishments. Quick shout out to Miss Mayali for putting together such a great induction. On Wednesday, the Student Senate is having a winter pep rally. There are going to be many games and activities that students from all grades were able to sign up for. Also, at the pep rally, students are going to be honoring senior winter athletes who are just about starting their seasons. Some key events that students are excited about are the pie eating contest and the annual Pie a Teacher competition, where students all week have been collecting money to try and pie teachers. Half of the students that signed up and collected the most money will get to pie a teacher, while the other half will be pied by a teacher. I, for one, signed up to pie a teacher, but let's just say my odds are not looking the best.
The fall SAT held at Sun Valley went very smoothly. There were lots of students preparing to submit these scores to colleges or preparing for the new online version that will be held at SB in the spring. The scores for the November 4th SAT came out this Friday, and I hope everyone did better than expected, including myself. I have yet to check. Next, the Student Senate collected cans for President C's Camp Out for Hunger and dropped them off this past Thursday. Our students' participation in the canned food drive allowed for the Student Senate and I to drop off countless bags of food at this event and help those in need. We also got to be in the audience for a few moments for the 93.3 WMMR radio show and even got a few photos with the Philly sports guy. This event was definitely a success, and I hope we continue to support next year. Finally, sometime next week, due to the weather conditions, the annual Powder Puff game is the annual Powder Puff game. Our Sun Valley girls will go head-to-head to see which two grades have got what it takes to win, the seniors and sophomores or juniors and freshmen. Each year, the junior class runs the Powder Puff game and chooses where to donate their earnings. This year, we have decided to donate the earnings to the Parkside Food Pantry to help those in our very own community during this holiday season. Kickoff is at 6 p.m. and we hope to see you there. Go Birds.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time, guys. Olivia and Seamus, thank you for your updates each month. You make it easy for me. There's less for me to have to say. But there's a great vibe at Sun Valley this year. There really is. Student body deserves a lot of credit for that. Appreciate the updates. Have a great Thanksgiving. Seamus, why don't you leave that dinosaur with us? Whatever. You'll be all right.
Senior assassin.
You'll be all right. All right. DCI youth report. There's none for tonight. Dr. Steinhoff, superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Ormer. Good evening, everybody joining us tonight for the November meeting of the Board of School Directors. My superintendent's report tonight, as Seamus said, is going to be brief. There is a kickoff that many are interested in just over an hour. We have a number of people with work ahead of them for the holiday that will be happening this week, and we'll also be meeting as a board in just 2 weeks for reorganization. The conference is being held this week, and first marking periods haven't ended or ending soon, depending upon the grade level. I really can tell you that the 23-24 school year has been a very, very good one so far. In the spirit of the season and Thanksgiving, I can say that I am very grateful for all the efforts that have been put in throughout the district community of parents, students, and employees to have made the front end of the school year really go so well. What I am noticing most is efficiency, smooth and expected operations, better communication, much student support, a positive school climate and school atmosphere, generally good student conduct, and a staff that worked tirelessly to make this a really great district. Last week I had the pleasure of seeing the newest group of inductees be sworn into the Sun Valley National Honor Society. What an impressive group it is, and it reminds you of why we were here and the effect that we can have on developing the future. Fall sports have wrapped up with some notable individual accomplishments. Winter sports have already begun. It was great to see a large group of students out on the track practicing indoor track, a program that we used to have a small number of students involved in, and now it's growing by the year. Full-day kindergarten has exceeded our expectations. We expect to begin offering busing transportation for kindergarten students, which will be a first in our district history, in early December, and also begin offering a breakfast program for interested students at the elementary level and at the middle school level in early 2024. Last Friday, I was fortunate to sit in on a conversation between our AP government students and Congresswoman Scanlon, and it is opportunities like that in which you see our students just shine that remind us of the quality opportunities that we have in place for the kids in Penn-Delco. The most important work we do is to develop the academic skills of our students. That work is crafted around 4 of our district-wide 5 Cs. Our staff provide opportunities for students to develop critical thinking skills, communication skills, skills of creativity, and collaboration skills. Most districts talk about developing those new 4 Cs, but our Ready for Life vision includes the 5th C, which is character. And you may have noticed during this month of giving that our social media posts and our newsletters have provided greater spotlight on activities of our students that reflect so well upon developing their individual character. Service activities, you just heard about a few tonight. Food and fun drives for the needy. Veterans Day events led by our students. Community service awards and recognitions. and in-school character ed programs like Franklin Covey, Leader and Me, Second Step, Choose to Be Kind, Core Essentials. We've always known that graduating persons of character is a key point of pride for our district. Our students reflect well on our district and they give us hope for the future. We've known the importance of holding kids to high standards of respect and compassion for themselves and for others. But I'm seeing increasing amounts of literature and research on the importance of developing individual character. A newly released book by Adam Grant titled Hidden Potential substantiates what we have always known and been about. Employers and colleges will always take kindly to persons with drive, maturity, and a good work ethic. The author wrote that the presence of character in a kindergarten student is a better predictor of positive outcomes than the presence of certain cognitive skills, skills that can be taught at a different time or different stage. And that's promising to hear, and it supports the work that we're doing in our schools in expecting respect for yourself and for others, tolerance, a willingness to be thoughtful about one another's value as a peer in our school. Artificial intelligence can provide a person with unlimited amounts of facts and figures and content, but as yet, it cannot make up for someone's lack of character. So I remain impressed by the kinds of kids who I see and speak with in our schools, and I'm confident that this continued focus on high standards and high expectations, combined with support to acknowledge and promote the practice of character first, will continue to serve as a point of pride. Last Friday, I met with Senator John Kane, along with a few other representatives from districts in our region, and I shared my hope that 2024 will finally be the year in which common sense cyber charter funding reform becomes a reality. Pennsylvania taxpayers have the potential of saving nearly $400 million if cyber charters were paid the actual cost of running their programs. So many of the ongoing costs of school operation are required of cyber charters, and yet they charge more than it costs individual districts to run their own cyber program. If Penn-Delco needs to provide speech and language services, for instance, for an existing student, it will cost us about an extra $3,500. But it's the same student who enrolls in the cyber charter will trigger a $35,211 price tag for Penn-Delco's taxpayers. We need a flat rate for cyber education in Pennsylvania. The cost of delivering the cost of delivering instruction via the internet to a child in a bedroom is not materially different in various parts of the state. It's time for a true and justified flat rate for regular cyber education students and a tier system for special education students. Ultimately, there has to be a level playing field. School districts absolutely should be audited. So should charter schools. School districts should have limits on their fund balances. So should charter schools. School districts should have to meet all of the obligations under PDE regulations and law. So should cyber charter schools. But most importantly, the outcomes of the cyber charters have to improve. The state owes it to students who are in them. They cannot turn a blind eye to the fact that 95% of some of the students in the cyber charter schools are not passing the state test. 95% don't pass, but 95% fail. And for that reason, we'll continue to offer our own program to make sure kids don't fall behind. Finally, I want to congratulate those on the board who were re-elected to serve additional terms. Everyone who was on the ballot won. The administration, my administration, serves whoever the residents elect to run the school board, and we look forward to providing you with what you need to do your jobs very well and to stay fully informed. And I wish everybody a wonderful upcoming Thanksgiving holiday. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Starr. Number 6, announcements for the public. Tonight, the board met in executive session to discuss personnel litigation matters. Any comments by members of the board? So first, I'd like to thank Mr. Hefton for his time on the board. I don't have any big elaborate songs or anything like Mr. Tinsley did last week, but the time that Mr. Hefton has spent with us has been productive. He's been very involved, and we look forward to maybe seeing him around in the future.
Leon, I'd like to also thank Brent as well and the rest of the board. I mean, in this season of thankfulness, it's kind of thinking about it today, I learned something from all of you. I've known all of you longer than others, but you're hard pressed to find a group of people that, it's a volunteer position here, and I know a lot of them really, but you guys, in your private sector life, these people don't sleep. They work round the clock almost, and this volunteer position here, that whether it's scouting or coaching or mentoring, every single one of these people put in hundreds of hours, and through the years, and the administration as well. Everyone just gives their time. So thank you guys for motivating me and making me work harder and be a better person. So thank you, and happy Thanksgiving, and make sure you put your phones down and talk to your family and friends, and because time is our most precious commodity, but it's gonna dry up sometime. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it. You got it.
I'll go real quick, and I want to thank all of you, and I already spoke to this, for the time and the open hand that you've given me here, kind of guiding me, leading me, showing me what to do, and the ins and outs that a lot of people don't get to see on a day-to-day basis, and the things that we all go through as a board, the togetherness that's provided, and a lot of insight to a lot of the school procedures and things that we see, here that the general public might not see. What a great staff we have, what a great administration, and I couldn't be more proud of the board that serves us, and I appreciate you all.
One other thing I'd like to mention, last week we had a question on reference to school board policy according to transportation. There was an error on the website. The PSBA wound up getting uploaded. That is not a change in our policy. The policy has one change, and that is that we will bus from kindergarten as opposed to first grade. So someone spoke last week about there being a problem, 64 different changes. That's not the case. There is still just the one change.
That's correct. The policy that's being voted on tonight only includes the change indicating that transportation at the elementary level will no longer be first and fifth, but will be K through fifth. Thank you.
Any comments by members of the public on agenda items?
Lisa Essler, 14 Pancoast Avenue. Last week at the study session, I was told my words may offend someone in the audience. Imagine how many kids you're going to offend if you vote to approve Policy 259, as well as offending 99% of the community you represent. How ironic and hypocritical. As I mentioned last week, an IEP, individual education plan, are given for emotional and educational challenges students may have, but not at the expense of everyone else. I was under the impression last week that the board did not know, or the administration did not want to share the criteria and details as requested by the ladies in the audience. As famously once said, you have to pass it to find out what's in it. That may work in DC, but it doesn't work in Penn-Delco.
Yeah.
Again, ironic, since last week we talked about transparency. I am requesting that Policy 259 be tabled for further discussion, a policy that represents our district, and for any of the audience or any of the board members who are not aware, anything can be tabled for future discussion. At the very least, I would like, 1014 to be pulled as a single vote off the consent agenda if you plan to vote that way. Again, I would have asked that someone have the courage to pull this for further discussion so we can have a policy that would represent the community that you represent, that you were voted in to represent. Thank you.
Jackie Farah, 104 Valley Green Drive.
Adoption of draft policy and AR 259 would violate the following. The Supremacy Clause of the United States Constitution prohibits states from enacting laws that are contrary to the laws of our federal government. Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution prohibits classifications that affect some groups of citizens differently than others. All students have a sex, but not all students have a gender, nor do all subscribe to a gender ideology. Establishment Clause of the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, which guarantees the right to free speech and to freedom of religion without government interference. Students cannot be forced to accept and acknowledge gender ideology in an educational setting. Constitution of Pennsylvania, Article 1, Section 28, equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania because of the sex of an individual. The 10th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, by intruding on states' authority over privacy expectations in the workplace and in schools. Protection of Pupil Rights Amendment. Title IX law states it affords protections and categorization based on biological sex only. It does not extend to gender identity or gender expression, as neither of these terms exist in Title IX as protected classes. PA Public School Code 24, Title 24, Section 3-321, Board of Directors Oath of Office. I do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. PA Public School Code Section 24, Section 7-740. The district is regulated by Pennsylvania law, which requires privacy facilities to be used separately by the sexes. Code of Federal Regulations, Title 34, Part 106.33. Regulations explicitly envision separate locker rooms, showers, and restrooms on the basis of sex. The Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land, defines the constraints of government. The 11th Circuit Federal Court has ruled that separating school bathrooms based on biological sex upholds the Constitution and Title IX. When applying principles of constitutional and statutory interpretation, the basis that sex-based policies discriminate against transgender students fails the Equal Protection Clause claim because every student has a biological sex, while not all have a gender. This gender-based policy will render Title IX and the PA Constitution meaningless. The board is neglecting its duty by allowing gender-based policies that violate students' sex-based protections granted by Title IX and the Constitution. Board Policy 000, Local Board Procedure states, the board and administration intend that only the constitutional and lawful interpretations shall be valid. There is currently no law that affords protections based on gender ideology as it directly conflicts with the Constitution. Thus, draft policy and AR 259 are unlawful. Thank you.
Hi, Kathy Culp, 101 Carriage Lane. I'm going to keep this quick because clearly we all have somewhere else to be. We've been at this for a couple months now, I think, between all of us. Parents, both sides, board members, everybody has a feeling in how they think it should be done. My question is at this point is why are we rushing it? As you said in the meetings previously, we don't have a student in our district right now that needs to utilize these scenarios that everybody's kicking around. We're kicking around in here, we're kicking around online. It's literally tearing up our community and it's getting kind of nasty. What is the rush? If there isn't a student that needs this right now, why are we rushing this through? Can we just take a little bit more time to really come to an agreement for all of the parents, where we're all going to be comfortable? We all want our children to be safe, comfortable, happy. Can we just take some time, a little bit more time, before we rush into this? This is things are changing quickly. If you watch the news, California, even California is doing the right thing. It's time for us to start doing the right thing too. Pull back a little bit, slow down, and let's make the right decision for all of our kids. Because ultimately, that's what we're here for. So, thank you.
Page 2, item 10 is items for board action. Carries through page 3, 4, ends on page 5, references the Penn-Delco budget 2023 through 2024, Act 93 plans, PDEA agreement, the PDESBA agreement, PDSSBA agreement, the PA School Code Section 1108B. It is the administrative recommendation to approve all personnel items as presented. That is motion. Questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Just so everyone's aware, I do have extra copies of the updated AR policy after the meeting if anyone would like to have a copy for themselves. With that, we're going to do a consent agenda from 10.03 through 10.15. If any board member wish to have anything pulled, we will vote individually. With that, I need a motion to approve 10.03 through 10.15. Please note all, everything is up to the solicitor's review. That is this motion.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Number 11, we have comments by members of the public. One more time for 3 minutes. Yeah.
Did you just vote? Yep, consent of vote. Consent. Yep.
Can you hear me? Is this on? I wanted to thank the board for paying attention and looking again at that transportation policy that we addressed at the study session.
Joseph Dashala, 110 Donnelly Avenue, Aston. I want to preface my comments by stating I am protected by the First Amendment of the Bill of Rights, Article 1, Section 20 of the Pennsylvania Constitution, and also by Justice Brennan's opinion on New York Times versus Sullivan. You guys are passing this before Thanksgiving. Why are you doing this now? Just sneak it in. You're sneaky, Leon, okay? I want to give you credit where credit's due, though, okay? You come in and you're in the vote, the election, you come in consistently in last place. 5 uncontested people, you're a loser, and you show up and now you're a board president. No, that's not enough.
That's enough. You're not going to stand there.
I got 3 minutes, sir. Thank you for nothing. How dare you do this before Thanksgiving? It's irrelevant, sir. That's irrelevant.
It's not
no, don't waste my time. I got the floor, okay? I got the floor. You're talking over me. You're cutting into my time, dude. You're a dick. Okay?
Goodbye, Joe.
No goodbye about it.
Done, Joe.
You're sneaking us past the families and the communities while we're trying to plan for our family and community of
We've talked about
Thanksgiving.
this for 3 months.
All right, that's great. I'm getting my 3 minutes regardless. I'm staying here for 3 minutes to say
That's fine.
something. This is a bunch of crap. You're a coward, you're a loser, and
Mr.
I'm
Chairman, Mr. Chairman, not
for doing this. Thank you for nothing.
Just
Thank
refrain from
you.
the profane
You pay
language.
taxes.
There's kids in the audience.
I understand that, and the kids need to
I
know
don't
what's
need-
going on.
And
This
your
is
opinion is
upset
your opinion.
community people
No,
that
you're
are
upset.
sick
You're
of you.
upset.
Oh, no one else? Is anybody upset, folks? Let's have a
okay.
show of hands.
It's okay.
Who's upset at Leon's poor performance and his policies that put him consistently in last place? The voters have spoken, sir, and the voters don't like you. And the voters don't like your policy. Look at you, you're sick.
I don't care what you think of me,
There's
Joe.
no smoking.
I don't care.
To me. Your feelings are not important
back
to
in
me.
the basement.
Do your effing job, sir.
Go back to your basement.
Do your effing job, sir.
Do your job, do it correctly. And I don't need a microphone to tell you what a piss poor job you're doing, and you should resign.
Everybody
You should resign.
You should tell me you can't win.
Get out of here. You're a bum. You're a coward and you're a bum. And you're a bully. You're nothing but a bully. And bullies are cowards.
Okay. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, that's great. Good job, dude. Real tough guy. Real tough guy.
Yo.
So, what you just did was a shame, and I'm very disappointed. This is not what the community wants. But beyond that, let's move on. Evidently, public education isn't free. As Dr. Steinhall said last week, we pay about $20,000 per student in Penn-Delco. I'm requesting that the board consider $10,000 for any student whose parents would like to remove their child for alternative education. And $1,000 for you to do whatever you want it with, and their household would still pay taxes. That's what I'm asking you to consider. Yeah, shake your head, no.
No, that's not possible.
Why?
Why not?
You still have plenty of money left over. This community does not want what you just voted on, and you all know it.
That's disrespectful, she's speaking.
Well, why do you not care?
He's giggling though.
Because you can't do it. We don't have a voucher program, and she knows that.
Well, you can write one.
She likes to grandstand and podium.
Do something instead of sitting there with your gavel.
Why wouldn't you just sit and listen to her quietly?
I got under his skin. I got under his skin. Thin skin.
Voted under voted by all, not by us.
Jackie Farrer, 104 Valley Road Drive. I wanted to address two main issues with draft policy and AR 259. First, the administrative regulation is concerning as it provides the superintendent with a dangerous level of authority. Per board policy 000, administrative regulations may be altered by the administration without board action. I'm sure you had hoped parents wouldn't question this section. I'm sure many parents have no idea how an administrative regulation works. I had not known what this was until I researched it. Now that I know, I will be sure to continue to make parents aware because it's a crucial part of the policy. I understand that you think it will give you a way to change things on an as-needed basis, but in reality, what would you possibly change? You surely aren't going to backpedal on anything in the gender preference policy. We voted for you to do your values and campaign promises. Giving the administration this much power is a way for the board to wash their hands of any of this controversial issue. And secondly, everyone here deserves to know that the board declined a meeting with Jeremy from Independence Law Center. Jeremy specializes in educational policy development. His firm represents through legal advice, legal representation, and testimony before legislative bodies, and provides these services pro bono. He has helped many schools improve education and develop policies including, but not limited to, Penn Ridge's sex-based bathroom policy, as well as called on 50 Pennsylvania school districts of their unconstitutional policies targeting religious speech. We did the work of contacting Jeremy and speaking to him directly. He was willing to come here from Harrisburg and discuss details, but in order to do so, he had to be invited by the board. But our board sadly declined the meeting. You took an oath to advocate on behalf of all students. Instead, you're caving to intimidation tactics and voting on bad policy that violates the Constitution as a way to force compliance of gender ideologies. These children are 100% of our future, and there's no better way than to spend our time, resources, and focus on them. Ask yourself if you truly believe this is a safe, effective solution for all of the children. That includes the students and families this policy is meant for. Or are you agreeing because fear was instilled and you're unaware of how the Constitution works? There are plenty of research articles and statistics proving the harm and distress policies just like this one are causing. It's not the school's place to foster gender dysphoria while forcing teachers and students to comply. Concealment of gender identity, including from parents, may contribute to a child's distress. A double life can be destabilizing according to the statistics. A policy like this is not providing better outcomes. Thank you.
Joe DePietro, 108 Donnelly Avenue. Just going to be quick about this. Your decision's terrible. This is me being cool, calm, and collective. I didn't go to college, went to high school. Or after high school, I went to the Marine Corps. All right? Yeah. Serve for this country. I'll serve for these people. I'll tell you right now, something happens to my daughter, you're going to see this face. It's not to be cool, calm, and collective. Take a mental note.
Brian Devine, 172 Meadowbrook Lane, Brookhaven. Just like the lady over there said, you know, nobody really voted on this, and why can't we treat it as such instead of dividing up this community? Because if you look on social media and everything like that, on both sides, it's disgusting what this community has turned into because of one vote, because of one thing. And you may think it's simple as just using the same bathroom, but let's call it what it is. It's a mental disorder. Gender dysphoria does happen. It is a mental disorder, and that's one thing that I love about today's age, is that mental health is not a stigma anymore. So why can't you guys treat it as such? If a student goes to the guidance counselor and says, I feel like a boy, I feel like a girl, instead of filling out a questionnaire and saying it's okay to use that either bathroom, why can't you set them off to some kind of mental therapy and have the parents involved? Case in point right here. I went to high school here not that long ago. The big thing then was ADHD, and the quick move was, let's get all these kids on Adderall. You know what the end outcome was? I'm not blaming it on just the Adderall, but I've been to more of my friends' funerals than I have their weddings. So why, guys? with all due respect, board members, I know you guys have a job to do. I know you guys have like, I'm not gonna sit here and scream at you guys, because I understand, you guys have a job to do. But at the end of the day, like I said, the community is so divided. This boardroom gets filled every time, and the parents are pissed off on both ends. So instead of passing the bill and sneaking it through, can we please just have some kind of compromise so that every parent is happy? With all due respect, that's all that we want, our kids to be safe and all of us to get along. Thank you.
I may very well be the oldest person here. Doesn't matter, that part doesn't matter. But I'll tell you what you guys just did today.
Sir, can you state your name and address?
Oh,
to the board,
excuse
please?
me, Phil Falcone, Melvin Drive in Brookhaven. 40 years ago, 50 years ago for sure, what you guys did here, there'd have been people waiting outside the door with straitjackets to put you all in one way.
All right, any comments by members of the board?
Cowards, one and all.
All right, future meetings next Monday, December 4th, is our reward here at the Service Center, 7:30. Motion for adjournment? Anybody would like a copy of the policy?